caught the elbow.
Oh, an uppercut by Coleman.
Nice move, trying to set him up for the suplex. Got to get his hands off that chain link fence.
If he's going to hang on to the fence, he wants to do it directly in front of his face so no fist can come flying in. That's what I would do, a knee right to the coxswain there. The lower tailbone.
Another uppercut.
And he's mixing it up well. He's going to low on the body with strikes and then high. And look at Goodrich. He wants to move. By moving, that doesn't allow Coleman to strike with his knees.
Oh, look at this.
This is the first time we've seen this tactic.
The first time we've seen somebody just scale the wall of the octagon horizontally.
Oh, he wants to get near his people to listen. That's what he wanted to do.
What a great move by Goodrich. Unbelievable. Being tutored on the fly.
But he's taken punishment in the process.
An uppercut again by Coleman. Another one to the back of the head, one to the front. It doesn't matter what the advice is if he's getting pounded like that.
All right, he's turning to face Coleman now. Now the knees can come into play both ways. What he's got to be careful of is he took 3 rides with Mark Schultz heavily onto his back, and he turns the tide on Coleman. Coleman now pinned against the fence.
Coleman using his knee defensively as Goodrich scores.
Smart tactic. And now he's got the underhook back, and Hero's assumed a position.
It's a stand-up octagon affair. Another one, chopping uppercut. Plenty of fury in that punch by Coleman.
Coleman showing good knowledge and versatility on how to attack his opponent from different positions.
Goodrich showing plenty of patience and poise.
As an Ohio State wrestler, his coach once told me that he felt the UFC was the perfect event for Mark Coleman. He coached him, he knew him well. He said he's a brawler kind of wrestler. Not perfect technique, but what he lacked in technique, he made up for with brute strength and heart. And the training from Richard Hamilton here, he seems effective against Gary Goodrich thus far.
5:25 into the 12-minute time limit with 1 3-minute overtime.
It only takes one of those elbows to make Coleman a victim. And we already know how powerful Goodrich is with them. And there he was looking perhaps for a choke.
A clean break. Here comes Big Daddy. He looks mean and ready.
Watch for Coleman to try and go ahead and take him down again.
Oh, Big Daddy's on a mission here. Coleman faking with the punches. Both continue to circle.
Coleman breathing hard.
Yes, he is. Goodrich not breathing poorly at all. Right hand by Coleman. Goodrich misses.
There's the double.
Coleman's got him on the takedown. And there's that power and the experience on the mat.
Great double leg. That gi also helped him. He grabbed right onto the gi, and Goodrich is now in some trouble.
Coleman lands a barrage of right hands.
None of them real clean. None of them the real bomb that he was looking for.
Couple got through. There's a knee to the head. Just keep it at bay.
A pretty good tactic. Again, he's mixing it up with both lower and upper body strikes.
This is the concept of
look for the choke. Now he wants.
There it is. It's a tap out. He got him. Mark Coleman is into the finals of his first UFC.
Good job, man.
Wow. 7 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, was that a good fight or what?
A tap out. And Big Daddy goes out with valor.
Well, he put a double grapevine in him, and he took the hips out of Goodrich. It really flattened his chest out. He couldn't get his arms under him. Perhaps he felt he was in such a vulnerable situation. That's why he tapped out. Coleman living up to his reputation.
Yep.
Let's have a big
He is into the finals.
Mark
Coleman. State. Here's a look at the uppercuts with Big Daddy perched against the wall, holding on after moving furiously along the fence. Again, this time he faces them. And they break away, get back to a standing position. And Goodrich looked very focused. He had a sense of what he wanted to do here. Wanted to turn it into a boxing match. But instead, it ended up back on the mat. Look at this double leg. It's textbook. Takes him down. And after that, he was able to utilize his grappling skills with a little bit of punching power thrown in. Here's the tap out. Watch Goodrich closely. He's looking for the choke. He sinks the arms in, and Goodrich at that point said, no mas. What a beautiful stretch. And what great imagination by Coleman. Jeff Blatnick standing by.
I'm here with a victorious Mark Coleman. And Mark, speculation, everyone knew how good a wrestler you were. The big question was, could you finish? I think you have answered that question.
I'm not finished yet.
Well, how do you assess the final against Don Frye? What are you going to be looking to do?
Same thing, get him on the ground. I was planning on saving my hands, but once you get out there, there's nothing else to do but start throwing punches.
Did you vision yourself getting this far in your first UFC?
I visioned myself winning this thing. I wouldn't have got in it if I didn't think I was going to win it.
How much more do you feel you can improve in this style of fighting?
I can improve a lot. I've only been training for this for about a month. I got a lot to learn. I want to get this win, get back out there, start training, and master some other aspects of my game.
Well, Mark, impressive victory. Best of luck. Get some rest for the finals. Back to you, Bruce.
All right, thank you very much, Jeff. So Coleman is in. We had heard a lot about him, and now he has lived up to his billing. But he still has an assignment ahead. And that assignment is not an easy one. It's the Predator, Donnie Frye. So one bout still to go. Mark Coleman heads back to the locker room to get organized. Wow, it's been a tremendous evening. Grappling and punching power both. And still to come, the main event of the evening, the championship bout. It'll be Frye and Coleman, both guys who have been tested thus far and will be tested again. Well, the folks who bring you the Ultimate Fighting Championship, SEG Sports Corp, are bringing you the latest installment of the hottest martial arts import from Japan. It's called Pancrase. Let's watch.
On pay-per-view, meet the kings of Pancrase, Ken Wayne Shamrock, Minoru Suzuki, Bas Rutten, and Frank Shamrock. The only men ever to hold the coveted title, King of Pancrase. See the amazing fights that propelled these incredible ring warriors over the top. Only the greatest fighters have been crowned the kings of Pancrase. Friday, August 16th on pay-per-view.
Well, that's Pancrase, but now we're back to the present, UFC 10, and Big John McCarthy is by my side. What's your reaction to what's transpired tonight?
Oh, man, you got some tough fighters anymore. You got people that have heart, they won't quit. They got more and more skills. I'm getting scared of these people.
John, what about your decisions in the first four bouts? All four were ref stops contests. What are you looking for? What makes you finally make that move to end it?
Well, actually, the last one between Capitella and Goodrich was not a ref stoppage. He tapped out. I don't know if anyone saw it, but he tapped out, and that's why I stopped that. The other ones were Mark Hall was fighting a heck of a fight. He was taking a hell of a beating from Don Frye, and finally he was starting to wheeze. He was gasping for air. His ribs were all bruised up. He's had enough. He wouldn't quit, so I'm not going to let him get hurt.
Do you try to gauge whether you're going to stop a fight or not based on your experience in working with these guys in the octagon? If you've seen someone before and you know what kind of punishment they can take, do you allow them a little bit more space?
Yeah, you have to allow these guys a little bit of space to, to get that last second to get themselves out of the problem. You want them to, do their best and show themselves. but I'm not going to let it get to the point where they're going to come out of this hurt and not be able to come back later.
Well, it's the first time we've seen Mark Coleman. It's a final of Coleman and Fry. What are your thoughts going in there?
You got two super grapplers. Don Fry, I think, is a little bit better stand-up. He probably punches a little bit better. Coleman, I think, has got a little bit less rest coming in, but Don's had 2 hard fights, and he's breathing kind of heavy. It ought to be interesting. I don't know who to call.
When you talk about the evolution of the UFC, you talk certainly about the cross-training we're seeing today. We used to denote guys as strikers or grapplers. Now it's very difficult to do that.
You can't do that anymore. You got guys coming in here. Brian Johnson, he's a kickboxer, he's judo. Don Fry is a boxer, he's judo. Mark Coleman, for being a wrestler, he's dancing around trying to stand up and strike. They're doing everything now, so I think this sport has changed everybody's opinion of the martial arts. They realize you have to be more well-rounded. You have to be able to do everything to be an effective fighter in this.
Well, what kind of shape do you have to be in? You're sweating a lot more than me. I don't know why, but seriously, I mean, you got to work in there, don't you?
You got to work. You got to move around. It's very hot in there. Sometimes I feel sorry for the fighters, but I kind of feel sorry for myself. It gets hot, but I sweat a lot anyways.
Have you ever had a fighter who's come up to you afterwards and said, "John, I didn't want to end the fight. I wanted to keep going"?
One time. That was Paul Varlan's against Tank Abbott. He was mad that I stopped it. About 10 minutes later, he came back and thanked me, though. So it's just it's a judgment call. It's my judgment. I try to give the guy as much opportunity to get himself out of a problem. If he doesn't, I'm not going to allow him to get beat on and get hurt.
Finally, the controversy of the UFC. Is this what martial arts has evolved into today? The ability to test your discipline in a field of battle?
I think it's just one more step for the martial arts. You're still going to have the different styles competing against themselves, point fighting, full contact karate, and now this is just one more evolution that people can come, and if they've reached the pinnacle of those other sports, this is probably the next step for them to be a challenge.
By the way, do you ever feel the burden of being the guy who has to try to make sure that there's not a serious injury?
Oh yeah, you know, my main concern is for the fighters to come in here to give their best performance, to showcase themselves, but be able to leave and be healthy and come back another day.
All right, go get a towel.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thanks for joining us. Big John McCarthy. Now, we talked to you earlier about Dan the Beast Severn. We talked about CompuServe, and we have lived up to our promise because Dan the Beast will be joining us in just a moment. But first, let's take a closer look at the man they call the Beast. In nearly 3 years of UFC competition, only one man has earned the nickname the Beast. A true gentleman outside the octagon, Michigan native Dan Severn is a terrifying competitor on the mat. He's gone where no man has gone before, winning titles in 3 UFC competitions. UFC 5, the Ultimate, and the UFC 9 Super Fight, defeating 2-time Super Fight champion Ken Shamrock. So when the UFC book is finally written, you can be sure it will include a long and electrifying chapter on the Beast.
And I'm here with Ultimate Champion Dan Severn. And Dan, you're looking marvelous here tonight.
Yeah, I'm actually cool tonight here, Jeff. I'm not out in the intensity of the action here tonight.
Well, Dan, as long as you're talking about that intensity here tonight, tell us your thoughts on the action you've seen so far.
Action-packed. I mean, I tell you, you can't look away from the octagon at any point in time. There's so much that's taken place. I tell you, the UFC has evolved so much. The athletes have become more of the cross-training taking place. I mean, the caliber from UFC 1 to UFC now is just magnificent.
Well, certainly you must be impressed by another wrestler coming in here. His name is Mark Coleman, and he seems to be doing quite well.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job out there. He's relying heavily upon the wrestling skills, but I mean, he's again, you can see the incorporation of the cross-training taking place out there.
Sure, Severn versus Shamrock, super fight, UFC 9. Your chance at revenge, it was dubbed and really hyped as the battle of skill, you two being the best current fighters. And really, it turned out what many felt was a boring test of wills. Can you explain what happened?
Actually, it was probably one of the most strategic or psychological warfare type matches that probably the UFC has ever seen out there. I mean, I rely heavily upon the fans being out there, and I thrive off of their energy. When I hear them screaming hell and yelling at, I mean, it's just like the biggest vitamin B12 shot I could probably ever get out there. And I mean, I feel I can do invincible things. And I mean, the match was a very strategic match. I did everything possible to throw Ken off of his game. And I think that really, you know, by doing the different things, by wearing the gloves, by showing a stand-up striker attack approach, it really did throw his game off quite a bit. And I think it just kept him to where it neutralized his effectiveness.
Well, you had told me before that fight that you felt Shamrock was a counter wrestler and you wanted to force him to come to you. Was that your strategy? And it seemed as though you were stubborn, he was stubborn, and neither one of you were going to be the initiator.
Exactly. I mean, you know, from a fan perspective, it's not the match that they wanted to see. They wanted to see two men go toe-to-toe or just go after. I mean, each and every time I've gone out there before, I mean, I've charged right in like a bull in a china closet and just took the action right out there. And that's the way that I've always taken my competitive type style. And in this match, I wanted to do something different to where I was using much more of a psychological warfare type of game out there, to go out there and to force Ken to try to come to me. And when the crowd started, you know, yelling at this match, you know, being a boring match in this nature, now we're starting to work on the psychological aspect. How is it going to affect him as a competitor? And it affected him quite a bit. Now you could see him where he's lipping for me to come on. But we had our invisible line in the octagon. I could either bring it to him or he could bring it to me. And now he has never brought it to anyone. I just waited.
Well, you seem to want to call him out, and that's the way the fight went. Now, you won the fight. Were you pleased with your performance?
No, not by any means was I pleased with my performance.
And do you think your fans were pleased with your performance?
No.
Your fans?
No, I think they, well, I'm sure they were probably happy that I won. But they still wanted to see the Severn competitor that the Real has shown prior to this.
Well, certainly you guys have each won one now between yourself, Shamrock, and you. And you're arguably one of the best, if not the best, current fighter in the UFC. If you only had one fight left, who would you want to fight?
I don't know. When I see the competition that's out there in this field right now, it's hard to say. I mean, it's right now we're going to just wait to see what materializes this evening, and I think I'll just keep that in the back of my mind. There's a lot of great athletes out there.
Well, you evened it up with Shamrock. What about Gracie?
Well, I mean, I would welcome an opportunity for a match such as that.
Well, Dan, I always enjoy getting the opportunity to talk to you, but I know your audience would like to have that opportunity, and my colleague Bruce Breck is back, and he has some CompuServe questions from the fans. Bruce?
All right, that's right, Jeff. We are here tonight, Ultimate Fighting Championship Online. This is your chance to ask our guest, Dan Severn, any question you might have about the fights tonight or the UFC in general. Helping us out, as usual, is Kevin Neenan from Entertainment Drive. Here's how to do it. All you CompuServe members, log on and go convention to Ultimate Fighting Championship. We're there right now. Also, don't forget, after the show, we'll be doing a wrap-up in the same forum. One more time, if you're on CompuServe, go convention, Ultimate Fighting Championship, and join us live. All right, Kevin's with us right now. And let's get to the first question. It's from Ehrlich, and it says, Dan, what do you think about Fry, and does he think he will ever fight him? All right, Dan, what do you think?
What do I think of Don Fry? I mean, he's a marvelous striker out there. I mean, he was a wrestler at Arizona State when I was an assistant wrestling coach. I think the world of Don Fry as he's out there. I mean, he showed the cross training. He showed a complete competitor out there. He's showing the skill level on his feet. He's showing the skill level down on the mat. I can't say enough about Don Fry.
Well, as a follow-up, you know, he seems to be a friend of yours. You coached him. Does that play into fighting him at all?
That would be a big factor, I think, right there. I mean, that's right now I'm in support of Don Fry and wishing him the very best in his upcoming competition. And
all right, let's go to our next question. This is Scott from California. I want to ask Dan if he rode the clock against Tank Abbott. All right, Dan, there's...
If I rode the clock.
If you rode the clock...
Maybe that means riding time.
Okay, well, I can understand that terminology much better there, Jeff. Rode the clock. Well, actually, there's, you know, a lot of people don't realize that there are different types of rules out there in the octagon. I mean, most people realize that there's the, you know, you can't bite or you can't gouge your opponent. But the same token, there is what they call the non-activity rule, that if once a man is down on the ground, or both men are down on the ground, I should say, that if there is no activity, that they're going to bring both men up. Now, in that match with Tank Abbott, my strategy was I wasn't going to stand up there and strike with Tank Abbott. He's proved the power he had by taking out a 400-pound sumo wrestler with one punch. I'm a little bit shy of that 400 pounds, so I'm not about to sit out there and strike with him. So I wanted to take him to where my strength was at, avoid his power and go back to my strengths.
All right, here's a question from Andrea in Moscow, Idaho. That's the beauty of CompuServe. This is happening right now, folks, in your convention drive. Dan, I'm just starting out in the martial arts game. What kind of training should I look for?
Well, you probably want to look for the most complete. I mean, it's hard to say that one discipline is any better than the other. I mean, that's what this UFC is really proven out here, that, you know, I can just reflect upon the first time that I stepped out in the octagon. I was a one-dimensional competitor. I went out there as a pure grappler. You know, a couple of different grappling disciplines, but it was all in the grappling world. And since that time, I have realized the importance of the cross-training and to incorporate a number of different things. So that's what all I can advise is to look for a
hybrid?
dojo. Yeah, some type of hybrid. At least it offers you a couple of the different worlds, standing and ground tactics.
All right, here's a question. Here's one that sort of turns the tables on us. We've been asking who you thought were the greatest UFC fighters, and now Andy in Rochester is asking Dan who you think are the great ones. Okay, that's fair.
Well, there's a number of great athletes in the UFC. I mean, what you're seeing out here emerging just this evening right now, you're going to have just a fantastic final match taking place in Mark Coleman and in Don Fry. Your past champions, Marco Ruas, when he first came on the scene, typified what the most complete athlete would look like. Royce Gracie has done a fantastic job, three-time champion. You've had Steve Jenham out there, and Oleg Tartahoff, and Shamrock.
Well, you got a classy answer there. You need quite a few.
I kind of named quite a bit. Did anyone
Those are all the
name?
UFC champions.
And that's called covering your hide, Dan.
Well, you're a class guy, Dan. It's great to see that kind of respect.
Hey, Armin in Bellevue asked, was it hard as a wrestler to learn how to strike? Very fair question, Armin.
Well, I tell you, in my first UFC, I did not strike in my first two matches. And in the third match against Royce Gracie, several minutes actually went into the match before I ever did strike, and even then I had to think about it. It was not in my repertoire at that point in time. I mean, if I was a striker, the key is you create your openings and you capitalize on those openings. And for myself, I actually had to think about it, because at that time I was going against 26 years of rules and of sportsmanlike conduct, so it had to be a very methodical thought.
All right, thank you very much, Dan Severn. And we want to thank Kevin Neenan of Entertainment Drive for his support as always. By the way, there's still a poll going on. Dan will join us, I believe, for the final bout. Is that right, Jeff?
That's absolutely correct. He'll be lending his expertise.
Thanks for keeping me covered, Jeff. 45% of the members right now feel that Gracie is the UFC's greatest fighter. 20% for Severn, 18% for Shamrock. So keep those votes coming in. Well, did you ever look at some of the fighters in the UFC and wonder how they learn those techniques, the throws, the locks, the finishes? Well, here's how to find out. Hey, UFC fans, whether you're a martial arts expert or just someone who wants to learn the secrets of no-holds-barred fighting for the greats of the UFC, we've created the Secrets of the Octagon instructional video series just for you. It's a 5-volume set featuring your favorite UFC fighters sharing their secrets for success. Shamrock, Severin, Taktarov, and Hackney teach you strikes, takedowns, and shoots, submissions, escapes, and finally training and conditioning. All this for the price of $59.95 each, or save $100 by ordering the complete set of 5 for only $199.95. And when you order the entire series, you'll receive absolutely free an official UFC hat, t-shirt, and poster program. Plus, if you're not completely satisfied, return the tapes undamaged within 30 days and keep the bonuses. It's the ultimate guarantee on the Ultimate Martial Arts video series. To order the Secrets of the Octagon, call 1-800-237-8400, extension 630. Have your Visa or MasterCard ready. Call now. Well, here tonight in Birmingham, Alabama, at the Alabama State Fair Arena, this is what has transpired. Don Fry into the finals against Mark Coleman. Fry a winner in the semis over Brian Johnston. And then in the other semifinal match, it was Mark Coleman over Gary Big Daddy Goodrich. There was a tap out, by the way. Capitella tapped out. Big John McCarthy told me that during the interview. So there were only 3 ref stop contests and 1 tap out in that opening round. Okay, let's take a look at how Don Fry reached the semifinals. His opening bout was against Mark Hall, and this one went 10 minutes and 23 seconds.
And and he caught a good spin kick right to his midsection, rebounded well by slamming Hall down, and this is where the fight was won, right there, and you can see the damage done to Mark Hall's ribs. He protected his head and gave away his midsection. Hall took full advantage, but he spent a lot of energy.
10:23, referee John McCarthy stopped the contest and set up Fry's next battle against Brian Johnston.
And this, too, was a tough fight, and I think it's because Fry got tired. Johnston came out very, very hard, seemed to almost start to take the fight away from Fry until Fry got him down. And with this short elbow there, you see the blood on Fry's elbow. That opened up a cut, and Johnston tapped out.
Tap out came at 4:37, so Don Fry into the finals by virtue of those two victories. Meanwhile, Mark Coleman began the evening against Moti Horenstein in what was really billed as one of the best quarterfinal matchups of the evening. Two newcomers to the UFC, but both with lots of credentials. Coleman, the wrestler, Horenstein, the karate expert. And this one, you know, at the beginning certainly panned out well, Jeff, but then it was too much Coleman. Let's go back to the footage and see how Mark handled Moti Horenstein.
Well, like a great champion that Dan Severn is, Coleman fits that mold of being such an elite wrestler that he can take anybody down. And once he got him down, he showed the striking power that he said he has worked on and has brought himself into the UFC, and has shown that he can take on big people and do very, very well with them.
Speaking of big people, Big Daddy was next.
And really, I thought this would be his baptism, and he certainly showed. We saw some very unique style of fighting moving around the octagon fence, but in the end, it was a double leg takedown, a knee shot to the head, and eventually a double grapevine where Coleman right here will put both legs in, arch, and it took Big Daddy right down, and he knew he was in trouble there. He was exposed. Tap out.
7 minutes, Coleman into the finals. So what is going through the mind of Mark Coleman right now, Dan Severn?
Well, it's hard to say what's going through his mind here right now, Bruce. I mean, I'm sure he's just preparing, putting his game plan all together as to what to look for. I mean, you got a wrestler versus a wrestler out here right now, so I think you're going to see definitely some ground tactics.
How does he look to you?
Oh, I mean, he's unmarked in the competition, so he's going to come in fresh.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Bruce. I think it's a benefit that Fry was in the first semifinal. He's the smaller competitor. He'll get a little bit more rest. Coleman didn't fight as long. He's the larger competitor, second semifinalist. I think this will be a great final fight.
And there's Don Fry, Dan, a guy who has never lost in the octagon.
He's a machine. I tell you, when he steps out there again, you talk about a guy that actually can just suck the energy out of the crowd. He thrives on that energy. It's what keeps him going out there. I mean, he's just a working class type competitor.
Do you think Fry was tired in the early part of that Johnston fight?
It's hard to say. I think he was surprised a little bit in the match itself, and I think that kind of threw his game off a little bit.
Can he rebound? Can he rebound?
Oh yeah, he can definitely rebound. He's got the power to.
Well, a lot of you UFC fans have been asking about official UFC merchandise. I know a lot of people have been asking me to bring T-shirts back. Well, if you want to get those T-shirts and hats you see on TV, here's how to get it. The Ultimate Fighting Championship. This event is not for the faint of heart.
Now you can own the official UFC fight wear. Take home the UFC baseball cap or the UFC t-shirt. Also available are other official UFC alternate apparel. Let's get it on it! Know the fighters, their stories, and their stats. You can also own the UFC official commemorative program. Don't miss the action. Call for past events, now available on video. Have your credit card ready and call 1-800-525-6465.
Well, the crowd is ready here in Birmingham, Alabama, the Magic City, a city of culture as well as steel, the modern progressive city. Alabama State Fair Arena packed tonight. They've had concerts here, rodeo, tennis, basketball, and tonight the UFC. And here's our matchup for the championship. The Predator Don Fry against Mark Coleman. Debut for Coleman, Fry undefeated thus far. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for this championship bout. Coleman is 31 pounds heavier. And they're both 6'1". Arizona for Fry. Coleman from Midwest Columbus, Ohio. Mark Coleman will enter the octagon first. And here comes that walk. All the hard work and energy. How does it translate in the octagon? You've already fought twice, and now you got to fight again. And Dan, you've been there before.
I'll tell you, the walk to the octagon in itself, I mean, this is something that I just fire up on there, Bruce. I mean, just walking there, hearing that crowd starting to come alive for you. It's a big mental aspect there right now.
The octagon with the 2 lock gates, the tight canvas skin pad, the 5'6" padded wall on top of a chain link fence, 750 square feet of space. Reputations have been built and destroyed there. Fighting systems judged and found wanting.
Well, Coleman is a master grappler, strong background in wrestling, world-class Olympian, and he makes no bones about it. I'm coming to take you down to the ground, elbows, knees, and fists, and he shows that he can punch.
Another comment from Mark Coleman regarding the UFC.
I've made it to the championship fight. I'll be using my freestyle wrestling skills to bring back the title to Columbus, Ohio.
So Coleman is ready. And now the man who will either stalk him or be his prey. The Predator, Don Fry. 6-0 in the UFC. The UFC 8 champion. Undefeated. A mean streak. A wrestling background.
And to many, Bruce, they feel he is the best all-around fighter simply because he possesses great skill both on the ground and in the standing position, what they call versatility. He has got pro boxing experience, and we have seen in previous fights, he has got great power in short punches, very good grappling skills. Prefers a stand-up fight, but that's something that I think people interpret. He's good on the ground as well, and he is a heavy hitter when those punches come in clean.
Well, we asked every fighter before the competition tonight how they would react to being in a championship bout, so don't think that we knew who these two were going to be, because this event is far from choreographed, folks, I can tell you that. Here's Don Fry on making it to the final.
I'm Don Fry. I'm here in the finals for another championship. It's all mine, baby. Money in the bank.
We are ready for the formal introductions. Let's go up to Bruce Buffer.
Tell me, Birmingham, Alabama, are you ready? Are you ready? This is our last and final championship bout of the evening. Starting on my left, a freestyle wrestler, a 2-time Pan American and National Freestyle Champion, a World Games silver medalist and a 1992 Olympic team member. He's 31 years old, 6 feet, 1 inch tall, and weighing in at 245 pounds. Please welcome from Columbus, Ohio, fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona, Mark Coleman. And to my right, standing at 6 feet, 1 inch tall, and weighing in at 214 pounds. He's a 30-year-old and a Greco-Roman wrestler with a second-degree black belt in the art of judo. Fighting out of Sierra Vista, Arizona, undefeated in the octagon, please welcome the defending Ultimate Fighting Champion, the Predator, Don Fry!
15 total minutes tonight in the octagon for Fry, 9:43 for Coleman, but Fry had the longer rest period. Last thoughts from Dan Severn regarding this fight.
Well, I tell you, this is the interesting part right now. Both men facing each other. I mean, the mind game is being set.
For the
I mean, this is when
championship, are you ready?
It's time to go.
Are you ready?
This is it.
Let's get it on!
Here we go. Championship of UFC 10. The tournament is back.
It'll be interesting here whether Coleman can get inside, and I don't think Fry spent very much time on the ground. On his back, he hasn't been in the guard too many times. I'm sure he's versed in it.
Oh, good quick move.
That's called a short drag off that front headlock sprawl. Great job by Coleman.
Coleman hits the back of Fry's head and then chops shortly to the body. Fry's got a good grip on that left hand of Coleman.
And having come off the Olympic trials and wrestling being a short burst sport, 5-minute matches, you got to know that Coleman is going to be in some pretty good shape, particularly being able to keep an intense pace early.
Both men are just manipulating for positions here right now, trying to keep control of each other, looking to create that opening.
And we're looking at a guard situation now.
Coleman backs up Fry into the fence and lands the right hand. A couple more.
Don's got to create space here right now. Keep Coleman extended so Coleman cannot land and strikes. Coleman is driving in.
15-minute time limit with 3-minute overtime sessions in the final.
You know, when we talk about tactics, this is kind of one of the reasons a lot of the wrestlers like to wear the shoes out here, because this canvas, you know, it has kind of it's a tight, you know, it's a little bit slippery. They want to go for that gripping power with the feet. They'd rather short change themselves on the kicking aspect and go for their strength
to create the environment on the ground.
Exactly.
Well, Don Fry undefeated in the octagon. No one is undefeated that has lasted at least 3.
We have blood on Fry's face. I can't tell if it is his, but...
And he had a mouse before the bout underneath the right eye a little bit.
This is an awful lot of power, and Fry is not used to that. And boy, I'll tell you, Coleman's getting in with some of those punches.
Coleman continues to back Fry near the chain link fence.
Again, coming up, he's looking for a striking aspect. Don's trying to keep him extended so that Coleman cannot land.
And Fry showing us pretty good strength in his legs here. Coleman back in position, lands a punch right in front of us and a headbutt. Fry's bleeding pretty good now.
The cut seems to be up on his forehead.
More punches from Coleman. A plethora of right hands.
None of them are real clean. Fry's doing the job of deflecting most of that. That's a lot of energy that Coleman's spending there. Dan, does Don have the proficiency of even a half a Gracie in the guard position? Does he know good submission?
He's actually been working quite a bit off to the bottom here right now. But like I said, he's facing a very powerful individual. Again, with all the grappling background that Mark Coleman has, you know, he knows how to maintain position.
Well, there's one thing I always remember about Hoist Gracie. He said he spent half his life on his back learning the guard. Half his life. And I don't think any wrestler has ever spent that much time on his back, or they wouldn't be in wrestling.
It's foreign territory for a wrestler.
Another right hand by Coleman, had the side mount momentarily, rolled back on top of Fry.
And this is just a very big grappler taking on a large grappler, and that difference in size and power right now has been the difference. Coleman dominating.
Only 3:15 gone by, seems longer than that. It's been pretty much the same way with Coleman on top of Don Fry.
And Fry doing a great job here of deflecting Coleman's strikes.
Yeah, maybe only just 3.5 minutes have gone by, but I tell you, there's a lot of action. These men are turning out a great deal of energy out here.
Great job by Fry there, deflecting that left hand of Coleman. Fry showing the strength and the will in a position he hasn't been that often. In the guard.
I mean, Dan, do you have a time when the man's breathing when to strike the rib? Try to catch him right after he exhales so that it really bothers him trying to pull air in?
That's an interesting thought there, but at the same token, Jeff, I just don't think anyone...
He's working for a choke.
That could be a choke, but Fry able to use the fence to get out.
Oh, great move by Fry.
And Coleman did a cardinal sin in wrestling. He didn't turn the opponent in. By not turning him in, that really hurt. He gave Fry a chance.
I don't know. Coleman looks tired here. I mean, both. I mean, Don took a great deal of punishment just then. Coleman's showing the fatigue factor, I think, too.
Well, he certainly put everything he had into that short duration. Well, it took almost 5 minutes.
Coleman's backing up. He's going to use the fence to launch off. See how the back foot is moving? He's going to push off.
Is that a tactic that Hamilton teaches?
No, I think that's just a grappler's tactic right there.
5 minutes in. Coleman drenched his own sweat right now.
He came in.
Good move by Coleman.
Waited for the cross. And he took Fry to the mat.
If Coleman's going to turn around, he's being over in the corner where his entourage is right now. He's going to get a lot of coaching right now.
He looked frustrated when he stood back up there, Dan, like, what do I have to do to get this guy out?
I tell you, I mean, Don is a workhorse out there. I mean, he, you know, just being in practice with him, he goes through so much out there.
And that's also an evolution of a wrestler turned grappler turned fighter. He doesn't know how to fully finish yet. Give Coleman time, and he is going to be, just like a Dan said, he will get better with age.
Well, Coleman got a couple of punches in there, and once again, he's being very smart by keeping Fry controlled up against the fence, Dan.
Yeah, he's utilizing that. That's just great strategy. You know, if you can drive your opponent into one direction, he has only one direction really to come back out. And then he can just look to stop him.
I'm not sure if that's a tap out. This could just be blood. This is blood.
He wants the doctor to take a look at Fry's face. There was no tap out.
You got to do something, son. You understand me?
There was no roughed up contest. McCarthy wants the face Dr. Richard Istrico to look at his face.
And looking at Mark Coleman on the far side of the ring, you're looking at Fry right now and the cut on his face, but Coleman was hands on his knees. He was originally leaning with his forehead on the fence in fatigue.
Well, Dr. Istrico is going to allow it to continue.
That was a very short visit. Superficial cut.
Leon Tabs, a quick look. Fry's got a mouse underneath that left eye.
Turn your ass around!
And underneath the right eye as well.
Oh, no. You ready? You ready?
Coleman actually asked how much time is left, and the referee couldn't tell him. So he must be suffering from some fatigue. Let's see if Fry throws those uppercuts to try to catch Coleman when he's coming down and in to try to take the legs out.
6:20 in, 15-minute time limit, 2 3-minute overtime sessions. Don Fry against Mark Coleman for the championship.
Again, Bruce, you're looking at two great competitors out there, stalking each other around. They've exerted so much energy out here so far.
And it seemed funny. It almost looked like a wrestling match. Fry retreated to the center, and Coleman wanted to follow him. If you don't want to go to the center, you don't have to in the octagon.
Fry switches to southpaw here.
Coleman again is, you know, retreating back to the fence line. I think, you know, that's what he can't capitalize on the time before. He let Fry move in, pushed off actually the fence, so he had a good solid footing underneath it.
Coleman better watch Fry's right hand. It is excellent when he sets it up.
Back in the fence and now Bruce is going to be looking for a shot. There it is.
He's just not big enough to compete with Coleman in a grappling match. At this point, he's just not big enough. He's got a double. He's got Coleman in a double, but does he have the juice to get him up in the air and down?
Coleman uses the fence for leverage.
And that's going to end the double leg. Those shots to the head. He has to let go and protect himself.
Don Asher should be trying to be utilizing right now. Is actually using the fence to start to pull himself up. Use arms and leg and the back power right now.
Good advice from the champ. But you got to wonder how much power can the man have against such a big opponent.
Exactly. And when it comes to these matches, they can be won technique-wise. You can use not only just octagon strategy, but then your match strategy out there. Utilize the octagon to your benefit.
Dan, he's got a 31-pound weight advantage, but more importantly, he's more adept on the mat, where those 31 pounds mean more.
And that length. Coleman is a longer wrestler, so it gives him a much stronger base when he spreads his legs. And of course, that arm reach is going to help in closing the distance that the guard is trying to make separation with. And I think that's a big advantage for Coleman when he's trying to launch those bombs at Fry.
That's what you see right now. You're seeing where the wrestling technique is coming. The Coleman's got the legs in right now. He's controlling Don, and he's just looking to create openings.
Is this riding the clock?
I don't know. I'd say it's a good strategy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look what they do in football. Don't let a good quarterback have the ball. Well, don't let a good fighter fight in the medium he's best at.
Exactly.
Good point, Jeff. Keep the ball on the ground right up the middle.
That's right.
And I'll tell you, Ohio State was great at that over the years with guys like Earthquake and others. So Mark Coleman following in that Ohio State tradition.
Coleman now using an elbow. That's the first one we saw this match. Let's see if he'll go for that choke. When they're behind here, you wonder, why isn't he choking? This is a power Nelson. This is pure wrestling technique. And there's the choke. There's a choke looking for there, but he's not able to really sink it in tight because he's under the arm.
And also the sweat makes for a difficult choke.
I think it's a good time to get the opponent out there.
I really think Coleman. Fry is now on top. Coleman is very tired.
Is in position to unleash a right hand if he can gather control of Coleman.
And here's where the power comes in.
Pick up by Coleman. Look out. Look at his power, but Fry ran down to the fence, and Coleman ran into a punch.
Oh!
Right hand by Coleman. Another.
What a battle. What a battle.
Don took some grueling shots this time. I'm not surprised that he's able to maintain his feet.
We are seeing the metal that Fry is made of. He can take a shot. Coleman, his first UFC, doing exceptionally well, much as you did, Dan. But that isn't Royce Gracie in the guard. That's Don Fry. And he's having success finding the range with some fists.
And he's doing what Gracie has always done, which is feel your opponent. You don't have to look at him. You know where he is.
That's from all the years of experience. So like I said, you spend over half your life on the mat. That just comes natural.
A multitude of right hands landed in that sequence by Mark Coleman. Bruce Beck, Jeff Blatnick, and Dan Severn octagon side in the UFC 10.
Short left knee by Coleman there. And he's got to be way ahead on points with the fighters cards now, and I think he knows that. So he's probably here now going to start to, he's got to be, he's fatigued. And look at him, he's still going after him.
He's showing the heart of a champion.
I thought he was just going to kind of cruise there for a while, but he came right back and started throwing punches again.
Short left hand by Coleman.
That's part of the wrestling practices that they're used to going through, just long, grueling practices. You know, I mean, when you're tired, you can hardly stand. You're still out there pushing and pushing and continue to go for the technique.
This is pride now and heart, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. It's both competitors are digging down deep.
Well, Fry will get a break if he gets to the 15-minute mark. And that is all. Big John McCarthy, I think, has called it off, or is he calling for the doctor again? He wants the doctor again. He has not called it off.
That's it, baby. You got it.
Yes.
That's it.
Leon Taft comes over. Cut man.
And I think that might be it. He's pulling on the wrist of Don Fry. He wouldn't do that if it was still, the fight was still going to go.
I think it's going to be over. He's bringing Fry out. Yep.
That's going to be it.
We've got a new champion.
Mark Coleman in his first UFC will be a winner.
Mark Coleman wins UFC 10 in Birmingham, Alabama. Don Fry's reign is over for the time being.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a fantastic
So the
championship
undefeated
bout.
streak ends. Coleman
Ladies and
is
gentlemen.
exhausted, but he showed tremendous will, as did Don Fry. Dan, your thoughts?
I mean, what a match out there, Bruce. I mean, you just saw two fantastic athletes out there. I mean, they showed their mettle out there, and they just didn't stop.
Coleman is exhausted. 3 matches in the superior, supreme heat here in Birmingham tonight. This arena absolutely muggy. He's exhausted, but it's always better to be exhausted than a winner. Mark Coleman, the 1988 NCAA champion from Ohio State, the 2-time All-America, 2-time national freestyle champion, 31 years of age. He finished 6th in the Olympic trials, but he's got his gold here tonight. He went and trained with Richard Hamilton in Arizona, Grand Canyon University. He found
For the baddest,
secret
the
to
toughest
success.
man on the planet, undefeated here tonight, the ultimate fighting champion, Mark Coleman!
He's been watching the UFC UFC since it started. Was hoping for a way to get into it. Something I think I can do, he said, and can adapt to. I want to be a champion. I want to make some money. Then all the training I've done will finally pay off.
The commissioner of the International Fighting
Robert
Council,
Meyerowitz,
Mr. Art
president of SEG Sports in the Octagon, along with Art Davey, the commissioner. The formal presentation to a new champion,
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a
Mark
big round of
Coleman.
applause for our
And that has to be a good feeling, Dan, when you put that around your belt.
I tell you, Bruce, there's no better feeling than that. I mean, you put in a lot of hard work, you go out there and put forth your very best effort, and then you reap the rewards of it. Nothing better.
And for the Coleman clan, reason to smile and to celebrate. Mark Coleman getting the big hug. What a champion. Big hug from his girlfriend. Belt around his waist. Been considered one of the best wrestlers in the world for a while. And now he's the best in the UFC on this given night. Jeff Blatnick standing by outside the octagon, waiting for Mark Coleman. If he's got some energy left, he'll give Jeff some words. All right, Jeff, take it away, buddy.
There's also a monitor behind you.
I'm here with the victorious Mark Coleman. And Mark, congratulations in your first. You said you visualized this. Did it come exactly as you saw it in your mind?
Pretty much. It's just that I didn't know these guys could take so many punches. Really, they took some hard punches and kept on fighting. All these guys are real tough. I can get a lot better, though.
Well, we look at another master grappler, wrestler who came in here, Dan Severn. It took him time to learn better finishes. Is this what we can expect from you as well?
Yeah, definitely. I want to get better on my feet. I think I can do some boxing down the road. I did some in the room, but I wasn't confident enough out there to use it tonight. But I want to get good on my feet, be a two-dimensional fighter down the road. But I'm very pleased with this.
As a wrestler, how important was it for you to do well here?
That was so important. I did this for my freestyle buddies, Greco-Roman as well, any wrestler in general. We don't get enough credit for as hard as we work. There's a lot of good athletes out there in the wrestling world that just don't get the credit they deserve. I did this for you guys. I did this for my mom and dad and all my friends, and my coach, Richard Hamilton, who gave me this opportunity to be here. And I thank SEG, everybody, for just giving me this opportunity. I've been waiting a long time for this.
Well, Mark, what can we expect now in the future? Do you have plans to fight in the next UFC?
I think this is my calling in life right here. But I still want to go back and try to win a world medal in wrestling. But yeah, I like this.
Well, does that mean you will be in the next UFC? Have you signed a contract for that?
Not that I know of, but if they want me back, I'll be back.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt you're going to be back as a defending UFC champion here, Mark. Outstanding effort here. Who would you like to fight in the UFC that you've seen so far?
I got nobody in particular. Whoever they put out there, I take them all. I don't take anybody lightly. Whoever they put out there, I respect. And I'll take them out the same way I did here. I don't think there's too many guys that can stop my double leg or beat me on the mat.
What you going to do with the winnings?
I got plenty of plans for that. Plenty of plans.
Well, hey, Mark, we want to wish you the very best of luck. An outstanding performance by you tonight, and the best of luck. Good luck to you and your trainer, Richard Hamilton.
Dr. Williams, that's 3. I just want to say, Bobby Douglas, you ain't getting that. Oh, what kind of prediction was that? Come on, man.
Well, to Mark Coleman, the big congratulations. Back to you, Bruce.
$50,000 to Mark Coleman, and the belt that to many of these athletes means more than just the cash. So Coleman at age 31 says this is his calling in life, and that the double-legger, no one can stop him. All right, Dan Severn, let's take a look at some of the replays and pick up some of these action. Punches early on.
Yeah, there was a great deal of striking that was taking place. Don was trying to keep the body extended so that Coleman would not be effective on those strikes. You know, Coleman did land quite a few strikes, so in the process. And again, that's probably the weight, the wrestling background being able to drive in there so well.
This is the big pickup, Dan, by Don Fry.
Okay, at this point in time, I mean, Coleman just showing the power and the technique right now, picking up. Don had to reach out right away, get hooked up onto something. I mean, who knows what would have happened, you know, aeronautically speaking.
Well, what happened when he turned to face Coleman was he caught a right hand flush on the cheek.
Here's the end, guys.
Now that eye is bleeding pretty bad. This is a decision by John McCarthy, weighing the situation that Fry was in and whether or not he's going to be able to come back and fight.
Yeah, it looked like the eye actually was swelled shut, so that actually Don could not even see to protect himself from that angle.
And here is the reaction. Sign of the cross. In prayer. I mean, he said he's been waiting for this opportunity for a long time, and I think this is the feeling he gets when you finally realize you've done it.
Well, the thrill of victory. I mean, no one else can typify that better than what Jeff Blackney did in the actual Olympic Games right there. And I mean, it's, I mean, even to think about it, I mean, I know it's got to be, you know, bring back some kind of emotional feeling right there, but there's nothing greater than to know that you went out there and you gave everything that you possibly can give, and then to come out on top. I mean, that's just a fantastic feeling.
And flanked by Bob Meyerowitz and Arthur Davey, you put the belt on, and now Coleman receiving the accolades, getting many handshakes. Great performance, and Jeff, I thought he was humble in victory. I mean, confident but humble.
Oh, he certainly was. He knows what he's capable of doing. He knew he was in there for the very first time, and Mark is not a conceited athlete. He's a very hard-driven athlete. And, you know, what you had to say to me there about, you know, getting down and having my Olympic moment, I blessed myself after my match. Hey, that's got to feel the exact same way. This is an international competition, the very best in the world. Every reason to feel is proud.
Exactly. I mean, I watched that moment there, Jeff. I mean, that's what I say when I saw Coleman doing that. I mean, that's the reflection that it came back to me just from my wrestling background.
You know, you find out a lot about a man when he loses, and Don Fry, who was classy as a champion, went out in style as well tonight. I mean, he showed mettle, he showed courage, he didn't want to tap out, he hung in there, even though he was definitely on the defensive for most of the fight, Dan.
He definitely was. I mean, it was, you know, he did everything in his repertoire out there. Coleman utilized that octagon really to his favor, you know, leading Don back into him and then using the octagon wall to drive in. I mean, Mark Coleman has such a powerful double leg in the first place, and he used everything to better equip himself.
Well, I'll make one comment here. I think Mark Hall made a prediction that he was going to surprise Don Fry, and I think he did with a very grueling, tough, hard-fought win by Fry. But I think the fatigue after that fight definitely started the ball rolling against him, so that when he met the bigger wrestler, the bigger athlete in the finals, he really didn't have the kind of juice he would have had if it was just a one-match scenario.
I think the strikes also were surprised. I don't think Don was really anticipating quite the uppercuts and the power that Mark was possessing behind the strikes.
Mark has got some power.
So this is the way things evolved tonight. Don Fry, a winner in the first round over Mark Hall, and Brian Johnston over Scott Fiedler. Then it was Mark Coleman over Moti Horenstein. Gary Goodrich over John Campatella. And in the semifinals, Fry over Brian Johnston. Coleman over Gary Goodrich. That was a 7-minute bout with finally Goodrich tapping out. And then Coleman, 11:36 was the final. 11 minutes and 36 seconds. And Coleman has the championship. And this is UFC number 10. Well, we've had some great champions. Hoist Gracie has won 3. Dan Severn has won 2. Steve Jenham won. Marco Huas won. Don Fry won. Oleg Tiktarov won. And now Mark Coleman won. And if there's one thread that runs through all of these champions, it's the ability to grapple.
I think I'd rather take an athlete that has a grappling base and try to incorporate the striking element than to take the striker and try to teach the grappling element. I think if you got that as a foundation, then the tools that you can add to it.
I have to agree with what Dan said. I think the wrestling background, if you had to compare what's easier to teach, good punching power or good wrestling techniques and balance, I think the wrestling balance takes a lot longer. Everybody can throw a punch. Whether it's effective or not is indifferent, but not everybody can be able to take an opponent down.
I mean, the people you talk about there, Bruce, I mean, they're pulling upon years of grappling experience there too.
Don Fry, suffering from complete exhaustion, was taken by an ambulance to the local hospital nearby, which is Brookwood Medical Center. And it was complete exhaustion from what we understand. And we certainly hope that Don Fry is okay. We believe that he is. But he was exhausted and perhaps dehydrated with the humidity and the heat here. And therefore, he will get the necessary, I would think, intravenous nourishment.
I think all three of us here. I think all three of us here are suffering from dehydration. Boy, is it hot.
No, but we certainly hope that Don's okay. We expect him to be okay. He's just getting the proper medical care. Well, we saw a passing of the torch tonight, Dan, and it's pretty tough to stay undefeated in this event, isn't it?
Bruce, again, I keep coming back to this, the intensity of the training, the cross-training that's taking place. You're seeing Mark Coleman, a wrestler slash striker that is just, you know, the power that he possessed out there. A very humble champion. I mean, he gave a great deal of respect to all former champions and that. So, you know, my hat's off to Mark Coleman.
Without a doubt, I think that's the formula right now that has had the most success with the most amount of athletes, grappler, striker.
Start with the grappler, incorporate some of the striking skills, and you also have to teach the grappler the finishing touch, which Jeff talked to Coleman about, because, Dan, that was something you had to really learn the hard way.
Well, exactly. I mean, I refer back to my first appearance out in the UFC.
UFC 4 against Gracie.
The interesting note was what you talked about on the times of each of these matches. You know, each one going 7, 8, 10, 12 minutes right now. The first several UFCs, I think the average time was 2 minutes, 22 seconds.
Exactly.
And now these matches are 8, 10, 12. I recall a couple of matches going 20, 30 minutes. I don't know. That's kind of a bad memory in my mind at times to have to go that long.
But that's also an evolution of of everybody getting to understand one another, particularly in the earlier days when there were mismatches or you didn't understand the guard or you weren't sure what a person's background really defined them as. You found out the hard way in the octagon. But once everybody got schooled, particularly with the guard with Gracie and how to protect yourself on the ground, that started extending the life to the matches.
All right, let's bring in right now Art Davie, who is the commissioner of the IFC, the International Fighting Council, which sanctions the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Art, born in Brooklyn, New York, a Golden Gloves competitor, UFC matchmaker and fight consultant for a long time, and a guy who saw his first mixed martial arts match 29 years ago. It was between a Thai boxer and an Indian wrestler in a Bangkok nightclub. Well, you really got into the game early.
Bruce, you've done your homework. All right, 29 years ago. And at that time, what I saw was that mixed match fighting was probably the most exciting type of combat art I'd ever seen.
We had talked earlier this week, Arthur, about the different competitors who were going to be here tonight, and you sensed that Mark Coleman was going to be a guy to be reckoned with.
Well, I think you've got to take a look at what Rich Coleman is doing, what Rich Hamilton is doing now. Hamilton is training some of the best fighters to compete in this event for anybody on the planet at this point.
And certainly he's taking the grapplers and, as Dan mentioned, incorporated a little bit of the punching and striking skills.
Exactly. So when a Rich Hamilton fighter shows up in the octagon, what you see at this point is the complete package. These guys have striking skills, they've got a great grappler's balance, and he's teaching them the submission. You
have the difficult job of trying to weed out the fighters that send applications for the UFC. What do you look for, and how does a fighter get in?
Well, I'll tell you, I think what we look for is demonstrated fighting ability. So if we've got somebody that's got Kyokushinkai karate, that's got kickboxing, that's got boxing, that's got Vale Tudo experience, that's our primary consideration. But we also take a look at martial artists who maybe don't have a direct fighting background, but have demonstrated tremendous accomplishment in other ways. That's our primary consideration. We certainly look for someone who can handle himself in this kind of an environment, and we get, still at this point, hundreds of applications.
We always are concerned as broadcasters when we talk to somebody in the interview session the day before and he doesn't have any pure experience in the ring. He may have had a lot of great background or been known for being very good at katas and other things, but the bottom line is the guys that have the experience going in are the guys we think have the best chance.
Yes, that's true. But I think it's interesting to note that someone like Royce Gracie really had his first Vale Tudo fights here in the United States. A lot of people don't know the first time Royce actually appeared. He'd had many hard sparring sessions in the gym, but he actually had his first real Vale Tudo experience here at the UFC. So we look for someone who maybe has demonstrated a lot of skill in the gym and maybe is ready to step up here into the octagon. I thought Campatella tonight maybe with some more seasoning would do better. And he was the type of fighter that you're referring to.
Certainly brute strength. We have a question from Jeff Blatnick.
Actually, it's a twofold question. You mentioned that name, Royce Gracie. Can we look forward to possibly seeing him down the road?
Well, I can tell you that the Gracies, all of them, know where the UFC is. I don't think he'll have any problem finding us. But I think at this point, the Gracies have established a great reputation. I think everyone acknowledges that. And I think at this point, it's up to the Royce Gracies of this world to call us and say, we want to be in the next show. Because Bob Meyerowitz, as a promoter, has certainly extended a gilt-edged invitation to someone like Royce.
Now, I asked you about how people actually get involved. Why don't you give us the formal way that someone can apply to the UFC to enroll in this competition, have a chance to make some money and stamp their name as one of the great martial arts in the world?
Bruce, it all begins, and I reach into my left breast pocket for an application, the UFC Fighters Application. A fighter will call us or write us or fax us out in Nevada, where I've got my IFC offices, and they'll request this application, complete it, send it in with photos and a 5-minute videotape showing me some fights or some hard randori in the gym. When they send this back to us, that begins the selection process.
All right, here's how you can do it at home. We want to take a look at the formal way to contact Art. If you're interested, call 702-294-2950. Leave a message on his voicemail. 1404 Colorado Street if you want to send a videotape, which is something that Art prefers to look at to scout the individuals. That's Suite 115, Boulder City, Nevada. Nice address, 89005. Back to Jeff.
And the second part of that question, Art Davey, is the wrestling community is abuzz with a rumor that you have signed a couple more athletes, namely a Mark Kerr and Tom Erickson, to potentially fight down the road. Is that true?
Well, you're putting me on the spot here, but yes, we have applications right now from Mark Kerr, and you know Mark Kerr's background status, and we've also got applications from people like Tom Erickson as well.
Well, Erickson being the runner-up to Bruce Baumgartner, perhaps the greatest wrestler of all time if he medals in Atlanta, and Mark Kerr wrestled against Coleman in the Olympic trials.
That's right.
So certainly that could be a great battle as well.
And I think we'll also see Mr. Mark Schultz back in. And we saw the kind of auspicious beginning he had in the last show. I think he's going to be a factor to contend with in a future UFC.
All right, Arthur, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to send those applications to Art Davey. If you don't get in, blame Art and not us. See you down the road, partner.
Thank you, Bruce.
Dan Severin, the reigning super fight champion, we want to thank you for your commentary this evening, and we want to wish you the best in your trails, and hopefully we'll see you down the road as well.
Thank you, Bruce and Jeff, for having me here once again.
Well, Dan Severin, the reigning super fight champion. We've got some results from CompuServe. The question we asked earlier tonight in the convention drive was the greatest fighter in the UFC. Who did you think was the best? In the entertainment drive of CompuServe, we checked in, and by going convention, we found out that Royce Gracie was chosen number 1 at 46%, Dan Severin at number 2 at 21%, Ken Shamrock number 3 at 16%. You're looking at 3 great ones there, and you certainly had 2 other great ones tonight in Don Fry and in Mark Coleman. Jeff, some final thoughts.
Well, without a doubt, everyone wants to see Gracie again, see him take on these, really the evolution of these grappler strikers that have now developed and seem to be doing so well here in the UFC. And, you know, I want to see a Dan Severin go in there against some of these people, to tell you the truth. I think that would be a great fight, no doubt about it.
So Mark Coleman, the winner tonight, 11 minutes, 36 seconds. He wins the championship by defeating Don Fry. So Fry's reign for now is over, but I'm sure we'll see him down the road as well. Don't forget, more UFC action coming up this fall. It'll be UFC 11. Hard to believe. Live on pay-per-view, September 20th. It's the return of the color commentator we had earlier tonight, the Tank. Thank goodness he's back in the octagon. We'll have Tank Abbott and much, much more. Mark your calendars for Friday, September 20th, and we'll see you there. So for Jeff Blatnick, for Tank Abbott, who helped us earlier this evening, for Dan the Bee Severin, for Arthur Davey, and for all of us at SEG Sports, thanks for joining us. So long from the Alabama State Fair Arena, and many thanks to all of the people here in Birmingham for some wonderful hospitality. I'm Bruce Beck saying good evening, everyone.